Hello folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. My name is Matt, for those of you who haven't already watched one of our videos, and today I'm going to be unboxing something that I think you're really going to love. I know I'm really excited about it, so excited in fact that I put most of my work plans on hold today to make sure that I had time to do this unboxing. It's a game that arrived literally on our doorstep this morning at 8 o'clock. A postman for some reason was arriving like before 8 o'clock in the morning. I have no idea why. I don't care. It was exciting. A game that has been highly anticipated. It's been nominated for heaps of awards on Board Game Geek, and it's also something that's hotly anticipated that we can't wait to share with you. As a result, this game we're about to unbox, the core game, is going to be available for pre-order. In fact, it should be available on our store for pre-order now. It's due for general release in about June, July here in Australia, and we are very, very excited to share with you this unboxing video today. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I am talking about the unboxing of a little game called Dungeon Drop, and this is the deluxe Kickstarter version, which has a lot of other content. It is the smallest unboxing we have ever done. As you can see, it's very, very tiny. Don't let the size of the box fool you. A lot of people have looked at this and gone, There is a ton of game in this very small, very cute box. Having had a look at some of the components at the Australian Toy Fair earlier on this month, I was able to probably even more whet my appetite for what I'm about to experience, not just when I open this sucker, but also what I'm going to experience with my kids, with my family, time and time again. Instant dungeon with infinite possibilities. If you like dungeon crawling, this is like a 15-minute fix filler game for 2 to 4 players from Phase Shift Games, I should say, who are proudly being supported in distribution by GameLINK, which is a huge swing for them. And obviously GameLINK is partnered up with our suppliers, which means I'm very happy to report we have a couple of cases on order, which is why you can pre-order from our store right now. In fact, you know what? Don't even watch the unboxing. Just go, click the link at the bottom, go to the HP Gaming website, pre-order your copy now. Pre-order 2 copies if you like, because one will be a great gift. GameLINK is a company that prides themselves on being able to support quality product, and this is no exception. Now, I've said all this, I haven't even opened the box yet. That's pretty much my review of the game. Obviously, I've done a bit of knowledge about what it's all about, got a bit of knowledge about how it all plays. I'm just excited to get into it, so I'm going to stop talking about it. Let's get into it. So I'm going to get my trusty pocket knife here. Now the game, I'm just going to be very careful because it's such a cute little box. The game allows for 2 to 4 players. And plays about 15-20 minutes, depending on your knowledge of the game, how it all sort of works, and things. I think the game time can balloon out for new players when they're sort of looking to see what dungeons they can form or what rooms they can form within the dungeon. Obviously, experienced players will be doing that in their downtime. So I think that's another feature, is because there's so many different combinations as the dungeon changes, and you'll see what I mean when we get through this. There's not that much downtime when it's not your turn, because you're constantly planning ahead as the dungeon changes which room you're going to potentially plunder next for loot. Without any further ado, I've got the plastic which goes on the floor, and then it's such a tiny box, but I know what's inside. It's really exciting. Tight box too, which is good because it means none of the components should be damaged or anything like that. Oh, so good, so good. Let's just pop this that way because we are unboxing a deluxe version. Now, with all the add-ons and stretch goals and everything else, I can remember a little bit about what was included in the box. But it's been such a long time, even though it was only, I think, last July that we backed it, or June. Yeah, lots happened since then. We've moved house, all sorts of other stuff's been happening. So let's just have a look and see. I think what I've got here, at the very top of the box, at the apex, that I'm struggling to get out of the box, is a huge pack of sleeves for all of the game cards. Yes, so sleeves, very important. If you've got a card game, sleeve it. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's Uno, I don't care. Sleeve your cards. It'll keep them for perpetuity, pretty much, which is awesome. So lots of big sleeves. And they fit snugly in the top of the box, which means that the cards should be able to fit in there with the sleeves on them as well. The Dungeon Drop bag, which I think was an add-on, obviously. And I think maybe it was included with the Deluxe content. I'm not entirely sure. So I can't remember what was included in the Deluxe and what was an add-on. I know the price point wise for this game too is not super expensive for what you actually get in that very small box. It's a price comparable with something like Sushi Go Party. For those of you that are familiar with the other GameLINK products, I think the recommended retail is about $39.95. Our price will probably be cheaper than that. If you have a look at the website, I'll stop, I'll wait here, pause me, come back and go and have a look and then come back. Our price will be somewhere, I'm not entirely sure, I'll have to have a look at it, but I think it'll be cheaper than that. $39.95, that's AUD as well for those of you who are watching from overseas, and hello to all our international viewers as well. Back into it though, the Dungeon Drop bag is an alternative to just having cubes inside the box. It's a beautifully printed, screen printed bag with a nice neat logo. As always, you should see some close-ups coming in and out of the screen as well of all the different components. And it pretty much sums up what the game is about, just literally dropping stuff on the table, making a bit of a mess, and then actually cleaning up the game as you play by picking up cubes. You'll see more rules and information about how the game works in later videos. We are going to do a how to play and obviously a playthrough of this as well. But yeah, I think it's just such a neat little, tight little dungeon delving game experience in 15 minutes that comes in a thing you could take pretty much anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't take it to a restaurant and then drop cubes on the table, because if they jump into people's food, that's probably very unhygienic. But we've got here, I'm going to do these one at a time. These are obviously the contents of the dungeon. Different cubes represent different things. White gems, rubies, bits of silver armor, different size cubes. There's mythical cubes. We've got some, looks like green gem cubes as well, and they're designed to be dropped from about a foot and a half off the table. So when you drop them, they go literally everywhere. But that's okay. I've only had one roll off the thing. None of them fell off the table, so that's pretty awesome. I'm just going to leave them on the table so you can see how it sort of works as you fill in with the rest of the dungeons. So different cubes, they're different sizes. The molds of the cubes is nice. Some of the sparkly ones really shine quite nicely in the light, which I think is great too. Visually, it's an experience as well, because there's so much going on. Now these ones here, different components obviously, because there's some deluxe components in here. So if you don't have a deluxe copy of the game and you're unboxing your own going, where's that stuff Matt was talking about? Should have gone deluxe. And if you didn't, I'm sorry, but for the price that you would have paid for it with the deluxe copy in AUD, like $30 or something like that, why didn't you just go with the deluxe? Why would you even hesitate? Okay, so we've got a couple of different things here. We've got some meeples, which are adventurer meeples in different colours. We'll pop those guys just down here as well. Nothing super special about the meeples. They are just literally wooden tokens, and they're nice. They're fine. There's no issues there at all. They're well made. There's a reason meeples do so well in games, because they're built to last. Now we've got some standard cubes here. This big red monster is meant to represent the big dragon. He is worth a lot of points, but he also does 10 something points of damage. So best avoid him unless you've got some armor on. If you don't have armor, get out of there. Just get out of there. Just don't worry about it. Go find some other gold in another place. And then we've got some goblins here. It is dungeon drop, so I am going to try to drop these as best I can. So goblins go in there too. And then you've got some magical chests, or chests that open with a key. You've got to search for dungeons through the rooms in the dungeon to find keys. When you find a key at the end of the game, you get to roll one of these chest cubes. And the chest cubes, these are awesome. The chest cubes, I'll get some close-ups of these as well, they're basically a six-sided die, a d6. And the one pip is actually the closing lid of the chest, which is very, very cool. If you pick up one of those and you have a key, at the end of the game, you'll actually roll the d6 and get whatever the result is as an add-on to your score for points. So it's really handy to try and pick up some of those as well. Everything rolls nicely. All the cubes seem to bounce off each other really nicely. If you just drop this straight onto a tabletop, they would go absolutely everywhere. So thank goodness for playmats. I made the silly mistake of not getting involved with the special dungeon drop mats that were custom made for the game, and I'm kicking myself for not doing so, because what an experience that would have been, especially having 2 back to back to make the dungeon even bigger. But hey, that's my cross to bear, I guess, as we move forward. What else have we got in here? Okay, so some deluxe content for you. Hero meeples. So we're not just talking about different coloured meeples here. Oh my goodness, there are so many. I forgot there were so many upgrades in Heroes. These are screen printed, and they have different... Oh my goodness, there's so many. 1, 2, 3. These are going to form...
barrier format drops off later on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That guy's awesome. 12, 13, 14, 15.
Look at these guys. Holy crap. These are spectacular. I knew there was at least 6. I knew there was a few that had been added on, but 15 for what I paid for this game as a Kickstarter. It's just mind-blowing the amount of customization options they've thrown in, and I think it shows the support they're giving back to their backers for helping them create something so spectacular. It's just fantastic. More deluxe content, we'll get to that in a minute. Now here we've got what looks like more silver armor tokens, armor cubes. They could also be pillars. I'm just trying to work out my stack. Plastic goes on the floor, and then the cubes for silver bits and pieces there. It's such a satisfying thing to be dropping it and having it go all over the place. I really, really love it. It's fantastic. Oh my goodness, there's so many different baggies. Some yellow gelatinous cubes as well. I can't remember what they're for. I think just extra features, extra dungeon things to take into account. Which is awesome. Then we've got, just see something very cool that I'll show you later. Gold. Now there was some controversy about the golden cubes because they had flashing on them, and they had this and they had that. Unfortunately, it's just a factor of the manufacturing process. You can't really make them without the little white nib on the side because they come on sprues and have to be twisted off. Doesn't really faze me that much. I'm going to be too busy focusing on collecting as many of these as I can before my opponents, because they are worth points, and in some heroic cases they are worth double points, even more reason to do it. So we'll just drop those in the dungeon as well. And now there's gold everywhere, and the silver has jumped the heroes. There's just... The box is still full. It's still over half full. There is so much in this game. And I think you can tell I'm pretty chuffed that I backed it. And obviously it was a spur of the moment decision. I knew a little bit about it. It looked interesting. I thought, oh yeah, okay, fine. Well, let's see what this is about. And obviously backing it, and then finding all the stretch goals get unlocked as the campaign went on, just showed for so much more content that they've put into this game. And it really shows the love, as I said, not just for the backers, but for the game's creators themselves. Phase Shift have just put so much into such a small box, and I would be very surprised if it doesn't do well, which is why we've got those 2 cases worth of product coming in already. It's so exciting. These are larger gold ones as well. See, as you add more stuff into the dungeon, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. More pillars, more excitement, more opportunities to score points, because you only get 3 turns, 3 rounds in the game. So it's 3 opportunities to explore the dungeon, find your room, and loot that room like crazy for points. So if you don't do a good enough job and aren't too careful, someone else is going to run away with it. But I think that's why playing this game with more players, there's more opportunities for things to happen, because people add cubes to the dungeon as the game goes on, which is very cool. I'm still finding cubes and things within this box that I have to open and throw in that just the bouncing. I could just do this all day and that would be a game. Just chuck them on the table, then put them back in the box and chuck them again. Why not? That's fantastic. Okay, now we're getting into some of the more deluxe content now. If I look at this little bit of paper here, the deluxe edition components and rules. So the shiny purple cubes you saw me throw down here for a mini expansion. we have to choose whether we use the purple cubes effect, which is a health potion, or the mini expansion, which will require the use of those 2 cubes. The gelatinous cubes are those crazy, creepy looking ones, and we have to decide, you can add in the expansion for that or not. The meeples, 15 of them. I mean, it's fantastic, and the detail on some of these is great. They've played up on the fact that the goblins are little green cubes in some of these as well. There's golems, there's angels, there's just pretty much every class you could think of in a dungeon game. And I just love the build, the thickness of them. They're absolutely amazing. And then I've got here all the other deluxe edition components here, including we've got a screen printed dragon cube. So instead of our red friend over here, who's going to go over there for now, we have a big bad screen printed dragon with a nasty face on him as well. He's going to go right there front and center, guarding some treasure chests, because why not. It looks like we've got some trolls with very nasty looking faces on them as well, and then we've got some keys which unlock chests, obviously, which are printed. I think there's 2 large keys, 4 large keys. No, I think there's a typo there. It should be 2 large, 4 small, but this says 2 small, 4 large. Someone missed that in proofreading, but that's okay. Proofreading, I should say. There we go. So now we've got treasure chest, goblins, all sorts of stuff. Actually, the goblins are in here. The trolls have gone into the dungeon. But these guys are the screen printed version of the goblin. Now, if you plunder a room or loot a room that's got goblins in it, you take health damage. So you try to avoid them, but they're only worth 1 point. So it's risk versus reward sort of situation, I guess. I'll keep that one for those. We've got here the mini expansion for the skeletons, which was a nice little touch. It was literally a chance to just obviously explore the maximum play factor of all these different components, and these little guys have got little skull faces on the dice as well, and when you drop them, that one, they went everywhere. They bounce quite nicely. And then we've got the rule book for the game. Now, there was a little extra something special in this edition as well. I don't know if it was in the base game as a thank you to the backers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jason, if you're watching this at some point, yes, you know who you are. Can you clarify that for me? That'd be amazing. This is something very special. It is a dragon cube, but it is made of metal. It has got a bronze sort of finish. It's got quite a bit of weight to it. It's like a very heavy metal D6. The tail emblem on the back, the embossing, the detail of this thing. The detail on this is on par with something that would be made by Royal Selangor, and I'm going to put it out there. The detail on this cube alone, I mean, it's just incredible. I could stare at this thing all day. There's horns on this thing, wings, the tail on the back of it. The base of the cube itself has feet, which you can actually touch. It's tactile, and I'm a really tactile person. The horns, the raised horns, the ears, and of course, I don't want to drop it. It's too nice. I think we'll just put him there. Oh, it's heavy. Let's put him just here with the other dragon. Why not? And of course, there will be some close-ups of that as well. That is a work of art. That's spectacular, in my humble opinion. Then we've got a few extras. We've got a tape measure, because as you'll be measuring rooms and things, it makes it pretty tricky sometimes to work out which things are in what room. So the game, we got the upgrade that had a handy tape measure to measure dungeon to dungeon. It's got a little beading on the side of dungeon drop, which is cool, and a clip so you can put it on the side of the box or wherever else you want, and you can work out, okay, so the silver pillars that I'm working out, there's one there, and then in there, and then the 3 cubes, everything in between. That'd be quite a good room, except there's 3 goblins in there, but I'd get double points for the gold potentially. The gems are in there. There's a blue gem as well. Treasure chest and key in one room. That's a good pickup. So that's going to be very handy to use as we play through the game. Getting down to the bottom of the box. Oh, the all-important silica gel. Don't eat this. Very important health tip. If you eat it, you get coronavirus. So now we're moving into the bottom of the box. I'll talk about the box there's more components that I want to talk about than just the box itself. The box has got more to tell you, or more to tell us, I should say. So we've got in this little component, the rulebook fits in the top, really easy, simple enough to understand. Not a lot of detail that you need to know. It's something you could really pick up and play. I think, as I said before, the 20-minute playtime, you'd run through it quite quickly with a new group, and then the second game you'd be running it at 15, 16 minutes, depending on how quickly everyone chooses their rooms and what they're doing in their downtime. The rulebook, it's quite colourful. I do like the artwork across the board, not just with the little meeples here as well, but the cartoon style, just of the artwork, the text, everything else. It's absolutely really, really lovely. Really like it. Punch out tokens for your different player boards. Just nice thick card, very durable. They work, they bounce. Just throw one on the floor, that's not good. I better pick that up because it's not plastic. Different tokens for different things. I'm not entirely sure what they're all for, but they do the job. Player order, so if you've got initiative, if you're familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, rolling for initiative, that sort of thing, that's what those tokens are for. Different hero markers as well. Ooh, one thing about this game I really did like is you had the option to print your own hero, create a card, and you could create heroes. I think you could do classes as well, so you have the option to go online and print off more components, and ideally print off more stickers and decals for these guys so you can use those in your game as well, which is awesome. Talk about customization. You've got complete customization and creative control, and I love it. This is different mini expansions. That's the expansions for the gelatinous cubes, which looks like it's pretty straightforward. It's just like a couple of cards. This may actually be the expansions for both the gelatinous cubes and the other larger purple cubes that we saw earlier. Okay, and it's literally gelatinous cubes, and then the shiny purple cubes, how they all sort of work. The artwork on the gelatinous cubes looks like they pretty much eat everything, which is quite dangerous, especially if you've got a chest and a key in the same room. That's not very good at all. We don't want to lose those. I will pop these guys just over here. The skeleton expansion looks like this little mini dungeon on the back of the card, which is very cool as well. These guys, as I said before, the skeleton expansion, I mean, it looks, it's just got a great feel. It's very simple. The back of the card has a little mini dungeon in there as well. Whenever a skeleton is collected, that player immediately drops 2 more skeletons from the crypt, which is here, into the back of the dungeon. If there are no more skeletons in the crypt, nothing else happens. Each skeleton takes away 1 point of health from your player. Skeleton scores 0 at the end of the game, so they are something to be avoided. However, if you collect 1, you add 2 more. So they are an ever-growing negative resource, I guess, throughout the dungeon. And that just a simple little thing is going to create so much strategy. And I've got to drop 2 more. Maybe they'll bounce, or someone else wants to get some armor or something, or whatever. It's going to be it's quite a challenge to work out which room is the best one to plunder. Another reason I like this game, because every game is going to be very, very different. The board is going to change throughout the game as well. Very, very cool. Okay, quests and add-ons and special bonus cards. I'm not sure if this one is a promo, correct me if I'm wrong. The Princess Prize looks like it is one. Magic Shields score 3 and Huge Monsters score double. Huge Monsters, dragons, I'm not sure whether the trolls come under that because they aren't the biggest, but that's okay. And you score 3 points for rubies, 3 points for white, 2 points for white, 2 points for blue gems. So collect as many of those suckers as you can. I think that was a promotional card or a quest, because at the start of the game you have your hero and you have a quest that you are undertaking as well, which will score you bonus points as the game progresses, or obviously the end scoring. Okay, player aids, cards, all the other fun stuff as well. Let's break this sucker open. Now this is going to be all the different heroic heroes and race and class cards effectively. So instead of playing Dungeons & Dragons and getting involved with it and having to have many, many sessions over many, many months to complete a campaign, play this for 15 minutes. You can choose your own class, you can get into all sorts of wonderful mischief, and if you don't like that and you finish the game and come last because you think your class let you down, play another game, pick a new class. Simple as that. Player aids, which is pretty straightforward. Simple as that. One thing I didn't mention, this game has a solo mode, and there is a scorecard for your solo spelunking in the dungeon. I'm curious to see how that plays, because this is a game that I imagine the family will break out from time to time. Will break out with friends when they come over as well. I want it to hit the table a lot, because I think there's a lot of game in this box. The solo experience, I'm not negatively geared towards it, but there are a lot of games that have some incredible solo modes, and I really do hope it lives up to the hype and the promise of what will potentially be a great solo game as well as a family game. But I think some of the appeal of this game lies in the fact that when other players are playing and you're dropping stuff in the dungeon, it's a bit more strategic about where you go. I think initially when you first play, you'll be just wanting to make a room that's going to score you enough points. But as you play through it and get more knowledgeable about how the game works, you'll be wanting to sort of push that strategy a little bit more, particularly if you've got some really competitive gamers in your group, as I know I do, particularly with my wife. So that in itself, in and of itself, I should say, is more of a drive towards the 2 to 4 player game. But I think, I don't know, I'll give the solo play a go, and we'll let you know how it works. I mean, I may do a playthrough just on a solo mode anyway, and we'll see what happens. But first things first, we've got quest cards galore here. So different quests, you draw one at the start of the game. Obviously you can match up with as many of these rules as you can to give you bonus scores. All that sort of stuff as well. There's heaps of different options there, which I think make it that much more, as I said, different strategies depending on which way you go. Now, you've got race cards. The back of these cards are pretty darn awesome. The artwork, I said, is great. The thickness of the card and the finish on the cards I really love too. It's a nice gloss rather than a standard matte. The core of the cards feels great. They've got a great flick and snap to them, and they glide easily through because of that gloss finish. Really nice, really high quality, very shiny, very pretty. And they have some very cute little guys on them as well. This is the Boblin. He's got special ability. You can re-drop all the monsters of one colour in the dungeon, which means you pick up everything and just drop them all over again. So if you didn't like where the goblins were, wipe the board clear and drop them again. You could end up worse off, but that's the risk you take. So we've got Boblin, we've got the Draglinken, Dwarf, Fairy, Gear Golem, Gnome, the Half Orc, the Hawkman, the High Elf, Human. Who wants to be the Human? That's annoying. Isham, Shadowfolk. You've got Sleth, which is obviously a snake, and he or she is attacking one of the goblins in the dungeon. The Stonekin and the Wood Elf, classic Wood Elf. And they all have special abilities like the Boblin as well, which is awesome. Boblin, I should say. And then you've got your class. So you would pick, and I'll show you in a second, you pick a race and then get dealt a class card, and then you match them together. And I'll show you that in a sec, but these ones also have a nice big sword artwork on the back, and they've got many different types. I think there's the Adept, Archer, Bard, Beastmaster, Cleric, Mage, Ranger, Rogue, Rope Master, and the Warrior as well. And you'll get, say, let's pick the Gear Golem. And when you place the cards together on the table, they form a complete picture. So what this means is you've got the Gear Golem Warrior. So what I want to talk about is quality of components, quality of product. Now, a lot of games I've done videos for in the past, when I've done unboxings or when I've done how to plays or whatever, or I've just opened a box for the sake of opening and played it with customers or whatever. A lot of people neglect the inside of boxes, or they just don't have the finish that they should, or the interior design of the setup and where everything goes. It's literally just a box that's open and just chuck everything back in there. With a game like this, that's sort of what you expect, because it's literally about chucking stuff on the table and upending the box. So that's fine, you can forgive that. But what I really, really appreciate with the design and the manufacturing of this particular piece, and kudos to Phase Shift and obviously GameLINK for getting on board. The interior of this box is fully dedicated and decorated. It has a complete interior design with an outlay of completely new artwork they've designed specifically for the box. So when you reach in here, you're not just staring at blank cardboard, and I won't be able to do it justice. I want to take photographs of this later on. But the elements that are in here yes, some of the little symbols and logos and things represent on the outside of the box as well, but that level of detail for a gamer, when you're reaching into the box and it's not just cardboard, you're actually looking in and you can see what's happening. They've left the bottom of the box as well. I don't know if you can see it. It's not blank. It's literally the floor of the dungeon. It's cobblestones. So if you're picking up cubes and the cubes are in there, you're literally picking stuff up off the floor of a dungeon to throw it into a new one. And it's a simple detail that's going to bring so much more immersion to your games. That I really, really love, and I wish more developers would take note, because it's such a simple thing, and I don't know whether the printing cost is that much more expensive, but I thank Phase Shift for doing it, because it just makes that experience so much more amazing. And of course, the beauty of it is the top of the box as well has the same level of detail. It's just beautifully done. The foil on the box, which I think does exist in the non-deluxe version as well, I could be wrong, is such a subtle detail, but it brings so much colour and excitement to an already beautifully coloured game. I mean, look at all this stuff. There's so much colour here. And I know the camera is cutting off sort of about here, so you can't see the rest of the components that I've thrown down there, but they're all represented here. Anyway, excuse me. But there is, it's literally the tiniest box in the world, but there is so much in this game. Even if you don't get the deluxe add-ons, you've still got the base goblins and the base trolls and everything else in the box, and the dragons too, and the chests and all the rest of it. You've still got so much game, and it's one that can be replayed. Like you might play something like not Pandemic, games that really require deep strategy and thought as a cooperative experience, for example, and you'll be there at the table for an hour and a half, easy, just because people are too busy thinking about what they're going to do next, and it just drags the game on, even though you're all heavily involved in that intense situation. Whereas this, in an hour, you can play 3 or 4 games. You can smash through it very, very quickly and have an amazing time in the process. Oh, finish the first game, right, I'm going to refill my drink, come back, let's do it again, set them up, drop them, let's go. If you're on the receiving end of an absolute beatdown, there's no reason you can't just pick up where you left off, start another game, and own those suckers the next time you play. I am super excited to bring this out. When it arrived this morning before school drop-off, my daughter obviously was awake and saw, what's that? And when I took out the box and showed her, she went, can we play it now? I want to play it now. Let's open it now. Can we play it now? Can we play it now? I said, no, you've got to kind of get ready for school. Oh, but... So don't be surprised if we do 2 videos for this one as a playthrough. One with adult game players and family members, and then a GameLINK Junior as well with Charlotte, because she's absolutely chomping at the bit to open the box and see what's going on. I'm pretty sure being able to let her make a mess and then clean it up a bit as the game goes on is a nice intricate way of trying to teach her to clean her room. Who knows, maybe I'll get lucky, maybe that'll work in our favour. But look, that's pretty much all the components for Dungeon Drop. As I said, so much in this game, so much in this tiny little box. I'm looking forward to getting it out and playing it later today. I'm pretty sure that I won't be able to get through the day or the next 24 hours without at least one game because of Charlotte's excitement. But obviously, folks, if you have any questions, please leave comments. For those of you that are overseas or in other parts of the country that haven't yet received your game, it is on its way. It won't be too far away. As Kickstarters go, this one was pretty much bang on time. They said delivery by 28th of Feb, and I've got mine on the 2nd of March, so that's pretty good. It's not unbroken. So by all means, if ask me any questions, I'll get back to them as soon as I have a chance. Check out our other unboxing videos, check out our GameLINK Junior videos, check out our store as well, and also be on the lookout for our Flesh and Blood tournaments. We've got in that TCG in a big way. Very excited to be involved with that as well. So much more big things coming from HP Gaming over the next couple of weeks, and get onto the website as well. You will be able to pre-order your copy pretty much as soon as this video drops. You'll be able to Dungeon Drops, see what I did there. You'll be able to pre-order your copy of Dungeon Drop. It'll be absolutely worth it. It'll be the best money you spend on a game this quarter, if not this year. And who knows, the next time we look at Dungeon Drop, it may have won some accolades as well. Good luck, guys. We hope you do very well, because you guys deserve it. That's all from me for now. I'll let you get back to your daily lives. Come back to the table anytime. Play heaps more games, and we'll see you for another video very, very soon. Bye for now.